Today's lesson focuses on fundamental reading skills. At the end of the lesson, you'll be able to identify the purposes, types, and categories of reading. Identify the skills used in each of the stages of the reading process. Gain knowledge on basic reading skills such as skimming, scanning, locating main ideas, summarizing, paraphrasing, and effectively apply these reading. Let's warm up. Let's read the following questions first. 1. What is the main idea of the passage? 2. Where did the highest storm surge occur? Now, get the answers to the previous questions from the paragraph. Here is the paragraph. The Philippines is visited by an average of 19 typhoons annually. With these typhoons come other disasters, one of which is the storm surge. A storm surge is an abnormal rise of water primarily caused by the strong winds of a typhoon. It is produced when the wind circulation near the eye of the typhoon blows on the surface of the sea and ocean. This produces a vertical circulation in the ocean, which is disrupted by the ocean floor once it reaches the shallow coastal area. Since the water cannot go down anymore, there is no other way but to go inland. A storm surge is further aggravated during high tides. For instance, a 20-foot storm surge on top of a 3-foot high tide will produce a 23-foot storm surge. The highest recorded storm surge in history is 43 feet at Bathurst Bay. Now, do the following tasks. 1. Identify the location of the main idea in the paragraph. 2. Summarize the paragraph in 2 sentences. 3. Without looking at the text, rewrite as much information as possible. It is not true that reading is an effortless task. It is instead a complex cognitive process. Aside from this, it is also highly visual because it involves the transmission of messages through the optic nerves. Although you may not be aware of it, you apply different skills when reading a particular text. You do more than just read. You also locate main ideas, summarize, paraphrase, note details, and get the meaning of words. Reading is a language skill which can be developed through constant practice. As some scholars found out, you can widen your vocabulary and develop skills in writing when you read. But reading can be more meaningful if it will be viewed as an interactive process between the writer and the reader. As a reader, you interact with what you read by asking questions, analyzing the assertions, adding your own understanding, and relating your experience to the message. The reading process. As a complex process, reading consists of the following stages. 1. Pre-reading stage. 2. While reading stage. 3. Post-reading stage. In the pre-reading stage, consider this. Based on the title, The Metamorphosis, what do you think is the story about? 2. While reading stage, read the following excerpt. One morning, when Grigor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into horrible vermin. He lay on his armor-like back, and if he lifted his head a little, he could see his brown belly, slightly domed and divided by arches into stiff sections. The bedding was hardly able to cover it and seemed ready to slide off any moment. His many legs, pitifully thin compared with the size of the rest of him, waved about helplessly as he looked. Taken from Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. 3. Paused reading. Example, why do you think this happened to Gregor? Before you read the excerpt, you have to draw on the background knowledge by looking at the title. This is the pre-reading stage. It aims to induce the reader's motivation to read and to activate their schema or background knowledge. Activities done during this stage include previewing, free writing, surveying, questioning, making assumptions about the author, identifying the purpose, and selecting a reading system, such as SQ3R, such the survey, question, read, recite, and review. And the while reading stage, you may reread the text until you fully understand its meaning. The specific skills of the stage include getting the meaning of words through context clues, predicting, inferencing, monitoring comprehension, annotating the text, and reflecting. And the last stage, you have to check your understanding to the text. This is the post-reading stage. The skills include reflecting, summarizing, paraphrasing, drawing conclusions, making graphic organizers, and journal writing. Now, the basic reading skills. The following are various skills. The following are various skills which can enhance your reading experience and make you an effective reader. 1. Rapid reading. 2. Previewing. 3. Literal reading. 4. Inferential reading. And the last, critical reading. Now let's talk about the first one, which is rapid reading. Rapid reading aims to locate specific information or main ideas in a very short span of time. Examples of this include skimming and scanning, which are both pre-reading skills. When we say skimming, you try to get the general idea by reading through the text quickly. It is a type of quick reading which aims to get the main idea and to get an overview of the material. It is usually done when reading newspapers, magazines, books, and letters. The following are some techniques for effective skimming. 1. Use your finger as a guide when reading across the line. And 2. Focus more on the first and the last sentences of each paragraph. They usually contain the main idea of the text. In the short activity, you are also asked to state the main idea of the paragraph. Locating the main idea is another reading skill. It involves the identification of the central message of a reading selection. The main idea is usually found in either or both the first and the last sentences of the paragraph, but it may also appear in the middle or may simply be implied and not explicitly stated in the text. To determine the main idea more easily, study the levels of ideas in a paragraph and see which elements help in pointing to the main idea. Here are some techniques in locating the main idea. 1. Identify the topic or the subject of the text. 2. Take note of transitional devices such as thus, therefore, to conclude, and to sum up, as they may signal the main idea. And 3. Validate your identified main idea by analyzing if all supporting details directly or indirectly support it. Now let's talk about scanning. Check the following information and look for the grade of Brutus. Do it as quickly as you can. Since you are focused on getting only the grade of Brutus, you do not have to read through the whole text. That is called scanning. It is a quick reading strategy which aims to get specific information from a given text. Scanning is useful in locating the specific name of a board passer, looking for an old email in your inbox, or checking specific information in the graph. Develop the skill further by applying the following tips. 1. 1. Be clear with the information that you need. Check if you are looking for a date, figure, person, place, or event, and then focus on that specific information. 2. Avoid reading every word. Focus on what you need. And 3. Relax your eyes as you move them across the lines rapidly. Now we're done with the first basic reading skills, which is rapid reading, with its examples, skimming and scanning. Now let's move on the second one, which is previewing. Previewing is a skill wherein a reader looks over a material and focuses on the information he or she finds relevant. Previewing also allows readers to set the purpose and link the content of the material to their background knowledge. It is conducted during the pre reading stage. Effective previewing involves clarifying the purpose, reading the title and headings, and checking the illustration and other visuals. Browsing or inspecting unhurriedly the table of contents, introduction, or summary is also a previewing technique. Now let's move on the third one, literal reading. Literal reading involves the understanding of ideas and facts that are directly stated in the printed material. Skills under this category include note taking, paraphrasing, and summarizing. These are done in the post reading stage. Now, read the following text and summarize its contents. Were you able to get the essence of the text and still retain the same information? This is called summarizing. It is a reading skill that involves condensing a lengthy text into a shorter passage, which is usually 15 to 30% of the source material. It is essential that the thesis statement of or the topic sentence is included in the summary. Major details may also be mentioned, but they are not required. A citation of the original source is always necessary. By practicing effective summarizing, you can improve your studying, writing, and reading skills. The following are some strategies in summarizing. 1. Annotate. Example, add notes to the original text to highlight important ideas, but avoid putting your own comments. 2. If you are summarizing a text with multiple paragraphs, get the main idea of each paragraph and write them in your own words. Combine them into a coherent article using transitional devices. And third, ensure accuracy by comparing your summary to the original text. Let's paraphrase. Paraphrase the following selections. Now compare your paraphrase text to the following sample. Were you able to rewrite the text in the same way? As you may have observed, paraphrasing involves restating ideas from the original text. Unlike a summary, the length of a paraphrased text is almost similar to the length of the original text because it focuses on the details and not on the main idea. A paraphrased text also cites and preserves the tone of the original text. Generally, paraphrasing is done to simplify a complicated text, improve study skills, and borrow ideas without quoting directly. The following are some strategies for effective paraphrasing. 1. Do not change the original thought of the text. Change the way it is conveyed. 2. Do not confuse with a summary. Focus on details, not on the main idea alone. 3. As with summarizing, ensure accuracy by comparing the original and the paraphrased texts. Next is inferential reading. Inferential reading refers to the process of deducing facts and ideas not directly expressed in the text. It is also known as reading between the lines. This skill includes making generalizations, inferences, and conclusions. This is applied during the while reading stage. Now, read the following paragraph. Based on the details, say why the girl was acting the way she did. When you deduced why the girl was acting the way she did based on the information stated in the text, you were making an inference. An inference is an idea drawn from facts or details in the text. Along with the evidence in the text, prior knowledge and experiences, as well as personal beliefs, are also used as basis in making an inference. Making inferences is important so that the reader can fully understand the text, even when some of the information is left out by the author. Now let's move on to the last reading skill, which is critical reading. Critical reading refers to the close and thorough evaluation of the claims and the text in terms of relevance, validity, and logic. This skill includes distinguishing facts from opinions and detecting logical fallacies. As with inferential reading, critical reading happens in the while reading stage. Here are the types of reading: developmental reading, pleasure reading, functional reading, and remedial reading. People have different reasons why they read, but most of these reasons, if not all, fall under three general purposes: to be informed, to be entertained, and to be inspired. Some of the various types of reading are defined and classified according to purpose. Now let's read the following to learn about them. First, Ryan reads a long text to improve his reading comprehension skills. Is that a developmental reading, a pleasure reading, functional reading, or remedial reading? Next, Karen reads her favorite book, To Kill a Mockingbird, to relax after a long day. Is that developmental reading, pleasure reading, functional reading, or remedial reading? Next, Felipe reads a college application form to understand how to fill it out. Is that developmental reading, pleasure reading, functional reading, or remedial reading? And the last, Francis reads a pronunciation chart with his teacher to help him correct his pronunciation of diphthongs. Is that developmental reading, pleasure reading, functional reading, or remedial reading? Now let's take a look at these types of reading. Developmental reading is a systematic instruction which aims to develop the student's reading skills. The second one, pleasure reading, is a more passive type of reading that primarily aims to provide enjoyment and entertainment, while functional reading is designed to help students learn basic functional reading ability. And the last, remedial reading, aims to correct the effects of poor teaching and poor learning. Now let's go back to the first sentence. Ryan reads a long text to improve his reading comprehension skills. Answer: developmental reading. Next, Karen reads her favorite book, To Kill a Mockingbird, to relax after a long day. Answer: pleasure reading. Next, Felipe reads a college application form to understand how to fill it out. Answer: functional reading. And the last, Francis reads a pronunciation chart with his teacher to help him correct his pronunciation of diphthongs. Answer: remedial reading. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless till we met again.